we go. Now people are starting to get here. That makes me happy. If you once y'all are here, if y'all just pop in chat and say hey, I'd really appreciate that. That way I know y'all are here, know who I'm talking to. Oh no, don't leave. And yeah, and then we can get started on the warm up. With so few people, y'all can just let me know when y'all are done with the warm up, and then we can just go over it real quick. So throw in chat when you're done, and we'll go over it. Awesome. Who's Alan? Because I know... Wait. Never mind. Cool. Sorry, Alan. That's okay. The only one we really need to know right now is the y equals mx plus b. Once y'all get this problem done, let me know and we can go over it. If you have extra time and you can catch up with it, that'd be awesome. It's really good practice. It shows us what we might not be 100% with right now. But the most important thing right now is to make sure we are doing our whatchamacallit, doing the new stuff. So doing this stuff, doing your other classworks, making sure we're staying on top of stuff, not trying to catch up. Does that make sense? So catch up as much as you can, but also do what you can. Catch up what you can, but focus on this stuff, the new stuff. Let me know when y'all are done with the warm-up, and we'll go over it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and go over it because, yeah. Hopefully y'all have tried it and gotten to a point maybe you got stuck, and we can go over it, alright? So if you remember, our formula is y equals mx plus b, okay? Our m is our slope. And so this right here is that. And that's an awful drawing, but you get the point, okay? So then what we're going to do is we're going to plug in our y and our x terms for our y and our x in order to solve for b. So our y is negative 2 equals our x, or excuse me, our m is negative 2 over 3 times our x is 2 plus b. When we multiply this out, you get negative 2 equals negative 4 over 3 plus b. Okay? And then we solve for b by adding 4/3 to both sides. When we add 4/3 to both sides, you get b equals negative 2 over 3. If you had trouble doing that, you can add 4/3. So negative 2 plus 4/3 is the same thing as negative 2 over 1 plus 4/3. Common denominator. And so we got to multiply both of this term by 3. Multiply this term by 3 over 3. And so we get negative 6 over 3 plus 4 over 3. And that gives us our negative 2/3. So once we know that our b is negative 2/3, I'm sorry my handwriting's so bad right now. It'll get better as my arm starts to warm up. But yeah, so then we rewrite the equation as y equals m. M is negative 2 over 3. X plus b, so minus 2/3. That's our answer, and that's what we did yesterday. I'm going to pause for a second to give y'all a chance to ask any questions y'all might have, and then we're going to move on. Alright, so moving on. These are our step-by-step for just like how to do it, how to find equation of lines. Every time you are trying to find the equation of line, this is what you do. You have to know your equation is y equals mx plus b. Just plug that in. Okay, just know that's true. You got to find your slope. Okay, so this last one we were given our slope. There's going to be times where we have to find our slope. Maybe we have to do our y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Sometimes we have to do that also. We'll figure it out. Okay. Once you have your slope, you're going to plug in your y and x from some point in the line to find your b. So last time we did this point. You're going to use some point. Okay. And then finally, a step that a lot of people forget, actually, this is a really common step to forget. You have to rewrite your equation. A lot of people find b and then they're just like, oh, I'm done. And they just circle their b. It's like, no, you got to plug it back in the equation. So yeah, that is our. Oh, excuse me. That's how we do it. All right, new stuff. Moving on. Parallel lines. Okay, we've talked about parallel lines. We know that they go on forever. They don't touch each other. They're equidistant from each other the whole time. We did a lot of things with like parallel lines and angles and blah 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 blah. Now we're gonna do parallel lines with graphs. Okay, and so in order to have parallel lines, okay, you have to have the lines where they have the same slope. Okay, so we have this first line right here. If I copy this and slide it down, okay, this is a parallel line. It has the same slope. The rise over run is the same. Okay, if you think about this and these keep going all the way, they're never going to get close to each other. They're never going to get farther away from each other. They're never going to cross. That's what makes parallel lines. I really like to think about parallel lines as just like copying and pasting new lines. So all these lines are parallel because they have the same slope. Okay? So if we have a line, all right, let's say we're given this first line over here, this red one. We're given this red line here, and when we want to find the equation of this green line, all right, we could use the slope of the red line and some point on the green line to find our equation of our green line. And that's what we're going to do. All right? So, if you have questions, feel free to just throw them in the chat. I'm watching it. I'm going back and forth. So, we got some lines. We got some parallel lines, and we want to find the equation of a new line that goes through the point 3, 2. So we want a line that goes through -3, -2. I'm sorry, I forgot my negatives. That's parallel to this line, okay? So what I want y'all to do is they're parallel, that they have the same slope. I want you to tell me what the slope of this new line is going to be. All right, just go ahead and type it in chat, what the slope of the new line is going to be. Using our old line, we know they have the same slope. So what is the slope of our new line going to be? Yeah, Joel, it's -4. So the way she got that is she knew the equation is y equals mx plus b, right? And when I write it like this, it comes easier to see. Obviously, y goes with y, x goes with x. This b is going to be +3. And all that's left is just m and -4, and they line up. And so we know the slope of our new line, m equals -4. Okay? So once we have the slope, thinking back to our order, we know our equation y equals mx plus b. We have our slope. Now we got to plug in our y and x values to find our b, find our y-intercept. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to say -2 is our y, equals -4 times x. Our x is -3 plus b. And just solve for b. So -2 equals -4 times -3. Negative make a positive. 4 times 3 makes 12. Plus b. Subtract 12 from both sides. And you get b equals -14. And then, not quite done, because we have one last step that people always forget. We got to rewrite it. Y equals m. Our m, we said, is -4. X plus b. And there it is. That's our answer. I'm going to give you all a second to ask some questions about this, and then I'm going to give you all one to try on your own. And then after you try that one on your own, we're going to go over it, and then we got one more thing to do after that. So, yeah. We're cruising. See if you can try this one on your own. If you have a question about the last one, I can go back to the last one. But see if you can find the equation of this line on your own. Give you like 30 more seconds to try this one, and then we're going to go over it. Alright, so first things first, you got to find the slope. And so we know the slope is just going to be the same for parallel lines. So our slope of our new line is going to be 3/4. Then we plug it into our equation, y equals mx plus b. Our y is 2. Our m is 3/4. Our x value is 4. Plus b, we're solving for b here. 3/4 times 4 is just going to be 3. The 4's cancel out, so 2 equals 3 plus b. It's a perfect 3. Subtract 3 from both sides, and you get b equals -1. And rewrite it. Y equals m is 3/4. X minus, I'm sorry, I miswrote there, plus b, or -1. Please let me draw. And that's it. I'm going to move on. If you have questions, I'll gladly come back to it. It would make very little could make me happier right now than someone asking a question. But I will move on now. So, we did parallel lines. Now we got to do perpendicular lines. Okay? If you think about perpendicular, okay? If I have a line that's coming through like this, and a line that's perpendicular to it, first of all, we know they're right angles. Alright? Other thing that happens when we have perpendicular line is they have negative reciprocal slopes. Okay? So if I have a line going up, the perpendicular line has to be negative. If I have a positive line, the perpendicular line has to be negative. Okay? So, if we have a slope of m, okay, let's say hypothetically our slope is 7. Okay? The new slope is going to be, we're going to take the reciprocal. So we think about m as being m over 1. We think about 7 as being 7 over 1. Reciprocal means you're just going to flip it. Just flop the numerator and denominator. Okay? So 7 over 1 turns into 1 over 7. Okay? That's the reciprocal. From the reciprocal, we also have to make it negative. So our final answer is going to be negative 1 over 7. Okay? And that is as simple as it gets. Now that's as complicated as it gets for perpendicular lines. Alright? If you have a slope that's like a over b, like 5 over 4, we have some fraction slope. Okay? 5 over 4. Flop it. Flip the numerator and denominator. Turns into 4 over 5. Then make it negative. That's negative reciprocals. When I'm saying make it negative, if it's already negative, you're going to make it positive. So let's say I had a slope that's like negative 1/3. Okay? When we flop that, that's going to turn into negative 3 over 1, which we know is just negative 3. And then I'm going to make it negative from there. And a negative and negative make a positive. And so it's going to turn into just positive 3. And that's negative reciprocals. And that is the hardest part about finding equations of perpendicular lines. So, moving on. Let's do some together. I'm going to do the first 3 together. Then you're going to do the next 3 on your own. Where's my eraser? Alright, so negative 2 over 3 turns into, flop the numerator and denominator, turns into negative 3 over 2. Okay? Then from there make it negative, negative, and negative make a positive. So it turns into 3 over 2. That's negative reciprocal. Do the same thing for the next one. Our 3. We can think of 3 as 3 over 1. That turns into 1/3. When we flop the numerator and denominator, then make it negative. So it turns into negative 1/3. That's our answer. This 1 is tricky. We think of 1 as just being 1 over 1, right? Then when we flop it, it's still going to be 1 over 1, which is just 1, right? And then we make it negative, and there's our answer. So just flop the top and bottom, slap a negative sign on it. I want y'all to try these next 4 on your own. I'll give you like 40 seconds to try this, and then we're going to go over it together. Go over them together. But please, please, please try it so you know if you're doing it right or wrong. And if you have questions, feel free to ask them. Cool, let's go over them. So, this 1/5, where's my pen? There it is. This 1/5, we flip it, turns into 5 over 1. We make a negative, so negative 5 over 1 we know is just negative 5. This one right here is going to flop to 2 over 7. And then negative 2 over 7 to make it negative or make it positive or whatever turns into 2 over 7. Next one is negative 6. Flops to, we can think of as negative 6 over 1. That's another thing that can be tricky, is forgetting to do the over 1. So that turns into negative 1/6. And then make the negative 1/6 negative, so then it's 1/6. And Joelle is right for the last one. This 0.5 we can think of as just being 1 over 2. Okay, you can think of it as 0.5 over 1, and then multiply both sides by, both the top and bottom by 10, turns into 5 over 10, which turns into 1/2. And so yeah, and so the 1/2, when you flop it, it turns into 2, make it negative, and it's negative 2. Alright, so now that we know how to take the negative reciprocal, we can apply this to equations. Yeah, I think that would be a great idea, Sydney. Just make tomorrow catch-up day. In fact, I think we can go ahead and plan on every Friday being catch-up day from here on out, as whenever we're online. Yeah, so tomorrow will definitely be a catch-up day. Nothing new tomorrow. All right, so from here, what we're going to do is we are going to do the exact same thing. We have to find our new m, okay, our new slope, okay, of our new line. So we're finding a line that's through negative 5, 5 and perpendicular to this line here, okay. So this slope, this line slope is 5 over 7, but then we got to take the negative reciprocal, so we're going to do negative 7 over 5. The negative reciprocal becomes negative 7 over 5. Once we find our m, we just go through and plug it in just like normal. So y is 5 equals mx. My m is negative 7 over 5 times our x is negative 5. This is just the same thing we've done a ton of times, plus b. So 5 stays here, equals this negative 7 over 5 times negative 5. The negative 5 and the 5 cancel out. And so then it becomes just a negative 7. But, excuse me, the negative make it a positive 7. It's positive 7 plus b. Subtract 7 from both sides. And you get b equals negative 2. Alright, everyone pay attention to this, because this is where you're going to make a mistake. You're going to be like, oh, blah, 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 I'm just doing my thing. When you plug in and rewrite the equation, when you rewrite your y equals mx plus b, don't need to call them out like that. When we rewrite your y equals mx plus b, okay, make sure you use your new slope. You have to use your new slope here. It's a really bad habit to use your old slope here, and that is wrong. Don't do it. Don't use your old slope. You have to use your new slope. Okay, so when I write my y equals mx plus b, I'm going to say y equals my m, my new slope, is negative 7 over 5. And this seems like, oh yeah, well duh. But I promise you someone's going to mess it up. And it's going to make me sad. And then that's it. I'm going to give you all a second to ask a question. Then we're going to have y'all try one on your own. And then we are going to be terminado. That doesn't mean finished, right? Alright. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Give y'all like a minute on this one. Maybe a minute and a half. Oh, so it'll tell you whether it's parallel or perpendicular. And so like these types of problems, perp means perpendicular. Okay, and then if you go back, I'm going to scroll back real quick. These, they say parallel. Other than that, you have to use some context clues, maybe if we have some word problems, but it'll tell you parallel or perpendicular. Jaden. So this one's perpendicular. We are going to have practice for this, Joe Ellie. It's going to be due Sunday night at 11:59, but I would suggest you just go ahead and knock it out right now as soon as we finish this. It's actually already posted on our Google Classroom, and yeah, so we are going to have work on it, but it's like 14 problems, and I think y'all are going to be A-okay with it. All right, let's go over this one. So, our slope, our old slope, is -1/2. Okay? So when we have -1/2, we're going to take the negative reciprocal. So -1/2 turns into -2, negative, make a positive, so +2. So our slope is +2. Then we just plug it in like normal. So -3 equals -2 is our slope, times x is -2 as well, plus b. -2 times -2 make a +4. Subtract 4 from both sides. B equals -7. Oh my goodness, that's an awful writing. Don't laugh at me, Sydney. There it is. Booyah. And then, least but not last, we write our equation. So y equals mx. Oh no, it's not an m. We know what our m is, sorry. Our m is, we have to make sure we use our new m. I am getting tired and not enunciating correctly. So 2x minus 7. If you have any questions about that, feel free to ask them. Other than that, we are done. Before you leave, I want y'all to go ahead and fill out a survey for me so I know that you were here doing what you're supposed to do. Here's the survey link. You can either plug in the bit.ly, and if the bit.ly doesn't work for you for some reason, this bottom one is the full survey. So here's the full survey. Here's the bit.ly. And yeah, the assignment is posted on the Google Classroom. And yeah, we are done. Thank y'all so much for stopping in. And yeah, if you want to stick around and we can go over some of these problems, these 4 together if you'd like. But if not, we are good. And I will catch you on Monday. We will have a live stream on Monday. So I'm just chilling, waiting for someone to tell me they need me or something. Jaden, I got your attendance survey answer. In a few minutes, if no one said that they need anything, no one has any questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, and we're going to be good. Thank you so much. Everything's really up in the air. Right now, I think we're planning on having milestones, but, yeah. We're really just taking this day by day, doing everything we can. If we do have milestones, we will be prepared for it. I will make sure we're prepared for it. If we don't have milestones, we still have to know the material to move on to Algebra 2, so I'm going to make sure we're prepared for it. And so, yeah, we don't really know. If we don't have milestones, we'll have some sort of final that I write, which will be super fun for me to be able to give you all my favorite questions. And yeah, but we don't really know right now what we're gonna have to do. It's a good question though. Alan and Joey, I got your survey responses. We figured out a way. We figured something out. And so 2 things that I'm like, this is completely unofficial. Like, I don't know anything, okay? But 2 things that I would think about having to make sure it is a controlled environment is there are some software and there's some things that you can do where it sets up almost like a live stream. And so we would just have y'all log in and set your phones up where we can see you and do the live stream like that. Or B, just say, okay, fine, it's an open notes final. You can have any formulas, any answers, anything you can get, but then we're going to make the problems a little more in-depth to balance that out. But like I said, we don't know anything. Right now we're just taking this 1 day, 1 week at a time. We know we're going to be out until at least spring break. And, yeah, making sure that we are doing what we can every day to do our best and just, yeah, focus on learning the math right now and not worry about the testing and the grading. I know that sounds scary for y'all, but, especially people who are here showing up, doing what they're supposed to do, like, y'all are going to be fine. I'm not worried about y'all. And it's tough because honestly, like, letting you know is really just telling you my guess because we're all up in the air together on this right now. But yeah, no problem. I try to be upfront with y'all. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and log off. Thank y'all so much for coming. Those of you stuck it out to the end. And yeah, I will see y'all on Monday. We are gonna have a live stream on Monday. Tomorrow's just gonna be a catch-up day, doing what you can. The sooner you turn in the assignment, the sooner I will grade it, and then that'll make us happy because we can get feedback and know that we're doing everything right, and you can just get your stuff done. And yeah, adios. See y'all soon.